Bill is here. You can go over there. Go ahead. Bill came up to me today and has something in his heart and something that takes us a little further beyond Cherokee County. And I asked if he could say a couple of words. And so I said, I will say, I will offer that to him. Please listen attentively.
Thank you, Father Jamie. This isn't my first time standing at this pulpit. Some of you might know in November of 2022, we had a beautiful memorial service here for my uncle, Bill Happy. And I had the honor of speaking at his memorial. My name is Bill Cole. I'm from San Jose, California. I was born in Virginia. Proud member of the Episcopal Church in Virginia, along with my Aunt Carrie, who attended the same church as a child. Father Jamie, I think your homily, I'm going to honor your homily, and thank you for letting me interrupt. Thank all of you for letting me interrupt. I apologize in advance for extending your time here on Easter Sunday. But I think I have something important to convey. After that service in November of 2022, I went back to my life. I was on the tail end of raising 5 boys. They're now all doing great, and I hope. And I wasn't paying much attention to anything else but myself. Didn't have God in my life, didn't have Christ in my life. So that's Thanksgiving or so of 22. Post-COVID, I'm single, a new job, football, weekends, social media. Not a lot of time for anything else but myself. So a couple days after Christmas, 2022, I was introduced online to a young woman who's in Germany. I was grateful she was in Germany. I had no intention of forming a relationship at that point in my life. I discovered quickly she's not German, she's Ukrainian. I was so embarrassed. I had no idea about Ukraine, about its history, its people, its current war. I was thoroughly embarrassed. I thought I would lose her quickly in the relationship. So what did I do? I immersed myself. Immersion. I immersed myself in this situation, in this country, the people, the culture. She asked me, please pay attention. Pay attention to Ukraine. It's important. It's not only important, Bill, to Ukraine and to me, it's important to the world. I certainly could have mustered up mounds and mounds of sympathy and pity, and could have raised funds and sent money and done all kinds of things like that. But when I heard her say, and I won't not name her, because now she's a soldier. She just texted me an hour ago from the trench. So I decided to create an empathetic disposition for Ukraine. How does one do that? Get my butt over there. So I paid attention to her. I started paying attention to God, to Christ. For the first time in my life. And sure, I found my way to Ukraine, frightened like no one's business. never been to Ukraine. I certainly have never been to a war zone. So in November of 2023, I went to Ukraine for a month. I put on a healthcare summit, delivered medical supplies, humanitarian aid, evacuation vehicles to various communities. Drove all over the country. This is a large country. This is about the same size as Texas. Put thousands, not miles, kilometers on my vehicle. My intention was to learn everything I could about this situation. I then came back, continued my day job, continued to try and sell software as best I could so I could make sure I had enough money for all this crazy stuff in Ukraine. I immediately went to Washington because I knew I needed to form relationships with Congress. I needed to form relationships with the White House. If I was going to have an impact on the situation, I needed to act. So I kept paying attention. I kept paying attention to God, to her, unnamed, and to all of the friends and the relationships that I had built in that 1 month in Ukraine. I had a lot of success in April 2024 in Washington. Our country committed to Ukraine a very sizable amount of funds to build weapons, jobs here in the U.S., to build weapons so the Ukrainians could fight back. I was honored to be a part of Speaker Mike Johnson's speech in April 2024 when he announced the last thing that he wanted was for his son, 18-year-old son, who was going to the Naval Academy that fall, to be in a war like this. His heart was turned. Mike's heart was turned. And I was proud of him. At the same time, I was able to meet a number of Gold Star moms who lost their sons in Ukraine. I now am amazing friends with at least 7 or 8 of these families who have lost their sons in Ukraine. Right now, estimation is that we have sent 3,000 men to Ukraine on their own, not part of the U.S. government. I understand that. The count now is 75 have perished. I made my way back to Ukraine last summer for an entire month. Again, doing some of the same work. Took on a few more projects, visited a number of clinics to try and help veterans. The PTSD in Ukraine is off the charts. Again, trying to pay attention to Christ. Came back in September of last year and went right back to Washington. There's more work to do. Was able to deepen my relationships in Congress with some amazing men. Men like Congressman Don Bacon, men like Senator Lindsey Graham, Senator Richard Blumenthal, Congressman Joe Wilson, Congressman Brian Fitzpatrick. I had intention, and I had the power of God on my side. Since September of last year, I have been working the halls of Congress and trying my best to understand our direction as a country when it comes to Ukraine. And so I went back to Washington 2 weeks ago. When I went back to Washington 2 weeks ago, I had 12 congressional meetings over a 2.5-day period with some of these same names that I mentioned earlier. They paid attention to me. I unlocked them. There are good men and women in our Congress that are trying to understand the direction of our president, the direction of our Secretary of State, the direction of that team. They are trying to understand because they know they're going to have to act. Because if they don't act and they just follow the direction that they're hearing, which is yesterday, Secretary of State Rubio said we're possibly just going to walk away from Ukraine because we're tired. The president's tired of this. I understand where he's coming from. He has a population of 330 million people he needs to serve. At the same time, I understand that if Ukraine falls, if there is appeasement, if Russia continues, Europe is next. And I'm going to use the words of J.D. Vance, Vice President J.D. Vance, who described a horrific situation where the Russians and the Chinese could attack us in any day from the Arctic. If we allow Russia to maintain their strength, that will happen. One day we all will be running for shelters. So yes, this is about ending this war. This is also about ending this war in a just way so the people of Ukraine can get their home back. They were invaded by a maniacal, genocidal maniac in Vladimir Putin. Russia has lost 1 million men in this war. He has sent 1 million men to their death, sons, fathers. So I'll continue and I'll wrap. This past March, when I was in Ukraine again, I got to meet my angel from God. 1 hour. I told you earlier she's a soldier. It's really difficult to set up. But we had dinner for 1 hour in Kharkiv region. I have to talk in terms like this for security reasons. It's about 10 kilometers from the border. The entire dinner there's artillery going off. My phone was going off with alerts. I've gotten used to dealing with this. Obviously she has as well. All of them have. That was obviously a magical dinner. It's the only hour I've ever spent with this angel from God. I said to her, I need to continue to act. I need to continue to pay attention to you, to Christ, to these leaders that I'm forming relationships with in Congress, and keep paying attention. And I said to her, I think I want to be the ambassador to Ukraine. Do you think that's a good idea? She did not hesitate, so that's a great idea, go for it. So I'm very close to becoming the ambassador to Ukraine through my relationships with Don Bacon, Lindsey Graham. This is the first time I've announced that publicly, so thank you for that. I want to wrap, because I want to use Father Jamie's homily. I want to take it into action for all of you, because he's right. We all need to pay attention. We all need to take a walk in the woods, notice what you notice, be present. Move away from your phones, move away from others' issues. Go inside yourself, be present. Pay attention to God. Think for yourself and understand. Try and understand how what's going on in Ukraine is much bigger than what the media wants to tell you, what the president wants to tell you, or what anyone wants to tell you. Because our future generations depend on it. They depend on us paying attention and acting. So what does that look like? I'm not asking you to go to Ukraine. I'm going to ask you what I asked my mother, 85-year-old mom. Because my mom doesn't completely and totally agree with me on this subject. That's fine. That's why we have debate. That's why we have the First Amendment. But I've asked my mom to do one simple thing. Call your congressman. Call your congressman. Because there are things happening in Washington that are very positive for this war. Call your congressman have your voice heard. That's how the United States of America works. We have gotten to a point where we are all dependent on what they say, what they do, and all we do is complain. There's a way out of that. There's a way out of that darkness. There's a way out of that darkness. It's real simple. Call them. You have a conversation with them. Most likely will not reach them. You'll reach a staffer. You make it real simple. You make it about something specific. There's currently a sanctions bill on the table in the House. If it passes, we will put a hurting on Russia. It's that simple. This is a bill that was written by Lindsey Graham, Richard Blumenthal. It was written by Brian Fitzpatrick and Joe Wilson in the House. My mom was nervous about doing this, and argued with me a little bit. Doesn't want to get involved in my politics. But Mom, this isn't about Democrats, this isn't about Republicans, this isn't about politics. This is about going back to 1775. This is about going back to 1775. Spain, France, Holland. They fought for us. They came here, they came across that big blue ocean, and they fought for us. That war went on for 8 years. None of us would be here. None of us would be here if they walked away. The United States of America would not exist. The spirit of 1776 is alive today in Ukraine. So I will close with the action plan. If one of you can leave here on Easter Day and go back tomorrow morning and call your congressman and call your senators and have a conversation with them about Ukraine, bless you. Bless you to the highest of levels. If two of you can do that, even more amazing. Absolutely. Absolutely. So I want to thank you. Thank you, Jamie. I'm sure I went over time. Sorry, Carrie. But I believe this is important. I see our country turning away from something that is going to destroy us all. And I do not want to see that happen. Not for my 5 sons, not for my grandchildren, not for any of you. So thank you.
Thank you, Bill. Glorious Lord.